Welcome to a virtual Wellness Wednesday. My name is Casey Gregerson, and I am the chair of the NACADA Advising Community for Wellbeing and Advisor Retention. I am joined by steering committee members Holly Green and Jacob Rudy. We are so grateful you were able to carve this time out for yourself today. Please note we will allow a time for questions at the end. Please raise your hand and we will call on you. As a way to be more of a community, we invite you to switch to tile view so you can see your colleagues and enjoy one another.
Thanks for joining us and taking time out of your day to come together for a moment of collective mindfulness practice. We are with Dr. Deborah Hendricks, who currently serves as the director of the Pre-Health Advising Center and mindfulness coach at the University of Toledo. Dr. Hendricks, I heard you speak in Columbus and Phoenix in 2018, where you won Best of Region 5 with a presentation called Advising Mindfully, Decreasing Stress and Increasing Wellness. Based on this presentation and our work in the advising community, I knew this was a practice that needed to be shared, especially right now. With that, can you provide a definition of mindfulness?
Well, thank you, Holly and Casey, and all of you up here. There's so many of you. It's so nice to look across right now. I'm kind of a little overwhelmed, I'm not gonna lie, to see these faces and this, Jacob, your smiling face. So I think just the idea of us coming together as a community and to sit together and practice mindfulness for just a few minutes. It's almost like we're holding hands, even though we can't hold hands, we can do it virtually. So I'll be happy to talk a little bit about my definition of mindfulness and what maybe mindfulness is not. A lot of folks are talking about mindfulness right now as, they're searching for peace and serenity and help for self-care during this time of uncertainty. And it is so important that we take time for ourselves, especially as advisors. We need to care for ourselves so that we can care for others. And I was fortunate to find mindfulness years ago. And as I started practicing, I started experiencing positive benefits. And those positive benefits were increased sleep. I would sleep through the night. I'd fall asleep faster. That was one of the first things I remember noticing. I also just started noticing that my overall emotions and attitude started shifting more towards happiness and being more joyful. I was less reactive and more responsive in my conversations. And I think what I started noticing is what mindfulness was not right at first. And mindfulness is not a religion. It doesn't have to be practiced on a cushion. It doesn't mean stopping all of our thoughts. And I really believed that at first, that I had to stop my thoughts. And I also thought mindfulness was like this cure-all, and it doesn't cure all things either. But what mindfulness is, it's a type of meditation that is the most researched type of meditation right now. And the research is finding and supporting that it does help with our stress level, with our ability to focus, with our level of happiness, with our immune system. And there's many definitions of mindfulness. Jon Kabat-Zinn, which is one of the founders, he is the founder of mindfulness-based stress reduction. He defines mindfulness as the awareness that arises when paying attention on purpose in the present moment without judgment. And I guess that is a good definition, but there's many. And my definition really is just bringing my attention back to the present moment every time it wanders without judging it and basically accepting things the way they are. Hopefully that was my definition for you, Holly.
Dr. Hendricks, that's great. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about how mindfulness might decrease anxiety and things like that, especially in anxious, changing times like this.
Sure, Jacob. Love to see your smiling face. Well, when we can accept things the way they are, accepting what is is different than pushing away or trying to change. So right now, with uncertainty and fear, that increases our fight or flight. And we have adrenaline and cortisol being dumped into our bodies quickly. And so the practice of mindfulness and realizing how often our mind wanders and returning our attention back to the present moment can allow our mind to kind of shift from the constant chatter and mind wandering that we do. Because on average, humans, adults, we tend to daydream and mind wander 47% of the time. And often our mind just goes into this little narratives that run around and increase our anxiety levels. It will play out scenarios of, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, or what if this happens? And we can see this being played out in the grocery stores with no toilet paper and things on the shelves where people start panic buying. But taking some time to focus on an anchor, our breath, bringing our attention back to the present moment can allow us to almost take a time out. It can increase the connections in the brain that allows us to focus, allows us to put more space between the stimulus and the response. Now, there's different types of mindfulness practices. There's guided mindfulness, body scans, loving kindness and gratitude practices. But really, mindfulness is focusing on an anchor, usually a sensation that your senses pick up on quickly. So I often, and most people, use the breath. It's something we always have with us. And if you're breathing, there's more right with you than wrong with you. But bringing your focus back to the breath each time your mind wanders is like a sit-up for the mind. That over time actually helps us decrease our anxieties and our worries. Cultivating feelings of being in the moment and being present can help us with feeling safe and help us feel compassion for ourselves and others. And it also helps us to feel more compassionate towards those on the front lines, our students. And I think we're all needing that right now. And if we can let go of what we think our life should look like, our offices should look like, our dining rooms, you know, what our expectations were, and just be with what is right now, we can find stillness and joy in our current situations, because we only have this moment.
Thank you for that, Dr. Hendricks. Would you mind leading us in a short mindfulness practice?
That's what we're here for. Absolutely. So together, I'm just going to ask everyone, collectively, we just want to go ahead and bring ourselves and our mindset and kind of move ourselves away from distractions. So no emailing or checking our phones or anything else for this next 5-6 minutes. Let's just be together, fully present and fully alive. I'm going to ask you, if you are comfortable with it, you can close your eyes or you can drop your gaze. And just to get comfortable in whatever position you're sitting in right now. You don't have to change it at all, but just really be alert and restful. And then bring all of your attention to your next breath. You don't have to change your breath at all. Let's just bring our full attention to our inhalation and our exhalation. Not thinking about our breath, but experiencing our breath. Almost like this is the first time you've noticed yourself breathing. Really just feel your lungs and diaphragm expand. Noticing how it changes with each inhalation, each exhalation. Just allowing the breath to be our anchor. And your mind will wander, that's what it's supposed to do. And without judgment, just notice where it's wandered off to. And then bring your attention back with kindness to your breath. Fully alive and fully present in this moment. Maybe noticing now the awareness that has arisen from paying attention on purpose. Maybe to sounds in the room and temperature of the air. Just being fully present. Each time you notice your mind has wandered and you bring it back, that act right there is the act of mindfulness. It's not stopping your thoughts. It's returning your attention to the breath, to the moment. Awareness of what's going on the inside and the outside. The temperature, the sounds, but let's draw our attention maybe to the inside. What are you noticing as you inhale and exhale? What do you notice in your neck and shoulder muscles, your face muscles, your physical sensations? And how about your emotions? Where are they right now? And not that you need to change them, but what are you experiencing right in this moment? There's no right or wrong. Anxiety, exhaustion, peace, happiness, or lack of sensation or emotion. Just check in with yourself. You don't spend enough time really checking in and noticing and being aware where we are and what our mind and emotions and body is saying to us. And then just focusing back on the breath. This next inhalation in and how it changes, bringing us life, and breathing out. Returning the mind and the thoughts, making a mental note, but then returning all of your attention each time to the breath that it wanders away. I'm going to ask you to shift our anchor, and instead of it being our breath, we're going to shift to gratitude for just a moment. So I'm going to ask you intentionally to think about someone or something that you love and care about greatly and that you're very thankful for. This can be someone that you haven't seen for a while due to isolation, or someone that you live with, or it could be a pet, someone that really brings you love and joy, that you light up. And I want you to visualize them right now, being with them. Maybe if you're a touchy-feely person like me, just give them a big old hug or hold their hand, or just sit with them if you're used to just sitting with someone and having a cup of coffee. But just visualize that right now. And more than that, I want you to experience gratefulness. I want you to feel it and sit with it. And I want us to take it from short-term memory to long-term memory. So we're going to sit with it for about 15 to 30 seconds. And that's going to be our anchor. Just anchor in right now. Sit with that feeling, with that thought and vision. Sit with gratitude of how grateful you are for them, for that relationship, that love, that connection. We're not really thinking, we're just being with that now. Being with that feeling of gratitude. And how does that gratitude feel? Where does it present itself in your body right now as you're becoming aware? If you notice any sensations or lack thereof is okay. Noticing anything in your neck and shoulders, in your face. And as we end this short mindfulness practice together collectively. Take a real big deep breath in and hold it for just a couple seconds. Exhale fully. Do that one more time. Your eyes are closed, you can open them. Congratulate yourself for experiencing and giving yourself just a few moments of self-care and mindfulness. You deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hendricks, for your time and the energy you put in for leading through this experience. We would like to open up the conversation now. Cisco WebEx does have a raise hand feature. So I know that I'm feeling a little lighter and broader in my shoulders now than earlier. So that's a welcome change. So thank you. And I was wondering, does anyone have any other questions or feelings that they'd like to share? You can use that raise hand function in the software to call attention to yourself. Casey, how are you feeling? I'm going to call you out.
I've got a couple hands raised.
Oh, okay.
We've got Mona. Mona, do you want to share?
I just want to say thank you for allowing us to attend. This has been extremely beneficial. I've never done mindfulness, and I just feel so much better today and more relaxed. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Mona. Yeah, I'm very grateful for Jacob and Holly and Casey for leading this. Mona, let me ask you, when you checked in earlier with yourself, what emotions did you notice before we did the gratitude? Did you, and you might not have noticed anything, if you want to share.
Are you addressing me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just asking Mona what emotions you noticed earlier in the practice when we were just checking in with ourselves. Did you feel anything different from what you felt towards the end?
But well, because I'm feeling, actually, honestly, I've been miserable through this because I'm such an extrovert, and then I just feel shut in, and I need people, and then I have two fairly new grandbabies I've not seen in a month and a half, and then I thought, but everyone that I know and love's healthy and right now, and so that's where I need to focus my attention instead of thinking what I don't have, what I can't do, what I, you know, so we get caught up in ourselves and our own misery instead of realizing how fortunate we are for what we do have and what we're able to do with technology. So I gotta kick myself in the pants and get over it.
Well, where were you feeling that then? So that you were feeling overwhelmed and sad as an extrovert if you're missing out. Could you identify in those moments though of where you noticed you were feeling that in the body?
Yeah, I've been having a lot of actual physical stomach pains and headaches the last couple of weeks, and not sleeping well.
Yes, all tied to it. Somatic markers, there's definitely physical sensations and responses to high amounts of cortisol and stress, and absolutely. And let me ask you this, and there's no right or wrong, but did you notice as you were sitting with the gratitude, did you notice anything different in your emotions and how they were presenting themselves in your body at that moment?
I think I did because I pictured my grandbabies, and like you said, sitting there, I could picture holding each of them in my arms and hugging on them and thinking, this is what life's about. Eventually I'll see them again, and just hold on. And it was just I actually felt a relief. It may be in my head that I did, but I actually did.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing, Mona. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know, Jacob, you experienced something similar to that the last time we practiced together. You said basically the same thing. But yeah, anyone else?
We've got Cheryl with a hand raised. Hi.
I just wanted to thank you too for your mindfulness practice. Is there any continuation that we can do this going forward? Because it really relieved the stress that's in my shoulders and my chest. back, you know, when we thought about
Yeah.
gratitude. So I really appreciate that. I'd like to do it again, but I didn't know.
Well, thank you, Cheryl. Yeah, women tend to carry stress in their shoulders more. I know that because my wife's a physical therapist and she tells me that often. But yeah, if we can, you know, take the moments of gratitude and be in that moment, we do have the power to heal ourselves. The body is created in an amazing way. And when we take those practices and we take them from short-term memory to long-term memory, that's where we notice and start experiencing a difference. And so usually in the moment, when we're caught up in the thoughts and the feelings of the day or the, you know, catastrophizing things, and they're bad right now. And it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. But when we come back to the present moment sometimes and realize that a lot of our anxieties is getting caught up in that, coming back, and then practicing something we know can help heal us, focusing on our grandbabies or whatever it is, we do feel a difference in the sensation in our body. But yeah, as for your continue this, I think that's why this community was established, and I'm more than willing to do this again because I have nowhere else to go. We're stuck at home.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was thinking about my son and how helpful he's been and how walking with him has been very, very helpful. I'm walking 2 to 3 times a day to just get outside of it.
Good. Also good for self-care. Yes. Anyone else?
I don't see any other hands. Anybody else? I think we're good.
Well, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. I also enjoyed it. And yeah, just happy to hold hands collectively with amazing folks that are doing great things. Our students are very receptive to this. They love practicing mindfulness. I practice with every one of my students virtually. We use the mindfulness extension on Chrome. It's called Mindful Break, Chrome extension. And I share my screen with them. I click on the little Mindful Chrome extension, Mindful Break Chrome extension. It's free. And we practice 60 seconds together and they love it. And because it's through Chrome, they trust it to be with Google, that it's safe and there's no explanation needed. But yeah, any way that I can help in the future, feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to have you with us today. We really appreciate you.
Appreciate all of you as well.